Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA I Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined today by
Shannon D.
Jake Davis.
Well, guys, it was one hell of a weekend for me. Not even the heck of a one.
Big stuff.
I can't
We
really
heard a
believe
little
shit.
bit of it. It's a little not safe for work. Some of it.
I think Danny was talking about his professional accomplishment of
Yes.
headlining a comedy show. But
We're not going to be talking about
Let's
Valentine's Day,
go
Shannon.
right into the gutter.
That said, I might have had sex with someone, maybe, and that might have been a nice little boost to my self-esteem.
Yeah, there's a little
Look at
cherry on
that.
top to your good weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. But anyway, yeah, I had my stand-up show, which I was very apprehensive about. And it was great. I did my first, now I say an hour, which is actually a lie, but it's a psychotherapy hour. I did 45 minutes. That's fair, right?
That's an hour of
fair.
TV.
That's an hour of TV.
with
That's
commercials.
true. With commercials, did you have some commercial breaks?
No, but you know.
Should have.
That
You should have had us there.
Damn.
We
I mean,
would've
I
had
want you
commercial
guys to do
breaks.
stand-up so you can come with me to these, but...
we're not
And-
allowed to come to support him if we don't do
Oh, well, you can
stand-up.
come. You're going to ride in the car with
We
me
gotta
for
dance.
8 hours to Healdsburg, California? I mean, you're welcome, but...
No, I already spent enough time with you.
Yeah, thank you. Quit touching me. So, anyway, it was really cool. I was very happy because I was nervous. You know, I obviously I have my material. It's all tested and true. I mean, it's mediocre, but what it is, it works. And but I had an idea, which was this new bit where I paid people on Craigslist to tell me about the town. And I also interviewed some people. I went to a park
Love
during the
that.
day.
Okay.
Oh my God,
And I was
Danny,
like,
that's
what's
so
up
resourceful.
with the town? And when I actually started doing the reading what the Craigslist people wrote and bringing up one of the jokes, I'll tell you guys, one of the jokes is they bag on this place called Lake County. And so I said, there's a joke they say about Lake County, which a compliment in Lake County is, I really love your tooth. Your tooth looks great.
Okay, sure.
Classic.
Nice. Did
So-
it go well?
Oh my God, they ate the local shit was like better
Always
than I've
hits.
ever
Bread and
done. They were
butter.
screaming, and so then I had
That's
so
so
much
fun.
momentum there that my okay jokes were like, oh, he was funny before.
Yeah.
No. So at any time a joke wouldn't go well, I'd be like, that one's for Lake County, and they I milked that teat for 20 minutes.
This is how your
Nice.
Larry the Cable Guy character got born.
Yeah, that's Lake County.
Wait, how much did you pay the people on Craigslist?
Nothing. Oh, I think I paid one guy $20 because he asked. I put the listing at like $1 a minute per phone call, but nobody else
okay.
even. Everybody else sent me an email where they just went off.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that's enough.
I feel this, Pat. I'll work pro bono.
Yeah, like you just sent me an insane email
Yeah,
where
but
you
don't
said everyone in the town is a serf. So I'm like, yeah, we're done.
Don't you think they were expecting you to get paid?
No, because it was $1 per phone. It was a phone interview.
So they just willfully passed
So
on
they
that
just-
offer.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, most of the emails were stupid. It was like, in Santa Rosa, a man is a man and a sheep needs to be protected. And I was like, is the implication here that men...
Oh,
Fuck sheep. No,
gosh.
100% that's what it is.
Yep,
Okay.
that's
That's
is.
a go-to for a lot of small towns that hate each other. I grew up in a small town that had a rival town, and it was definitely the worst of the two towns. And everybody there kind of knew it. It was just like, no, that's the good. Bolivar's the good one.
Yeah.
They have two
You
Best
were
Buys.
you were the Pawnee.
Yeah, 100%. We were the Pawnee. They were the Eagleton.
Yeah.
So I did the show. The only annoying part there was after the show, I wanted to get my chocolate chip pancakes, and it was really funny. The headliner, his two friends were there, and some other guy who they brought, and he just kept being like, "That other guy, he's not my friend." He's like, that other guy might say the N-word. I was like, oh, dude, please. Like, I don't want to be in that tonight.
my
like, I don't want to
God.
have to fight a guy
No.
who's like a foot taller than me. He didn't actually do that, but he did go, oh, you drive a hybrid? You really care about the environment, huh? And I was like, people like you exist. I
Yeah.
forgot about people like
It's like,
you.
why is that dorky to care about the environment?
Sounds like he's from Lake County.
Right? There we go.
Sure
The
is.
Santa Rosans listening.
Fuck Lake County.
It's like but I'm also just like, this is what pisses me off about those people too. I'm like, it's also a much more efficient car. Like, are you just stupid?
Right, you're saving money.
You don't like saving money?
It's not. Yeah, you're
cool.
Do you know, I pay less at the. You know, this is the kind of guy who puts the "I did that" Joe Biden stickers up at gas stations, and it's just like, oh, I'm changing the world. It's just like, yeah, man. I don't pay as much when I get gas. I'm a big dork.
Yeah. So anyway, I ate my chocolate chip pancakes, overate way too much because I woke up at 2 a.m. to drive to go snowboard in Tahoe. On this drive, I discovered the Miley Cyrus song, which people are making fun of me. Apparently, I'm late to the party. Flowers.
I can buy myself flowers.
Right. And the whole song, have you heard this, Jake?
I've heard the song.
You've heard the song. It's all about how, you can buy yourself flowers. It's about,
Talk to yourself for hours.
Talk to myself for hours.
Well, I was just saying, like you were saying,
I was saying,
can talk to
you were
yourself in the
saying,
sand.
right, thank you.
She's singing back up for you.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. That was beautiful. And so I didn't even realize, I later was like, oh, that song is all about, I've been trying to be single, and this weekend just felt like, oh, this is what I'm doing with my life. Like, this is who Danny Vega is. I'm not in a relationship. I've been single for a while. So I'm going to cry. So I got to the parking lot at 6:30 a.m. because I wanted to avoid traffic. And I was just sitting there, and I was listening to the song, and I just started fucking sobbing. Because I've been trying to do this since I was 17, and I did it. And
fuck, dude.
I was really proud of myself.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Tom.
That's fucking awesome.
Amazing.
No, that's a beautiful moment of clarity.
Such a good feeling.
It was a really good feeling.
It's a moment of zen. They're far between. I'm so glad you had that experience.
It was really nice.
Yeah, you're doing the thing. Headlining a show. You got a great podcast. You found a passion that you're obsessed with.
Yeah.
Such a great feeling.
It was great. And so I was like, y'all, I'm about to fucking crush this mountain. It's going to be the best day of my life. And I grabbed my snowboard that I had bought, the first snowboard I bought, a junkie snowboard. Actually, I hadn't been on it. I had been on the mountain 5 days on rental boards. But I was like, no big deal. Snowboard's a snowboard. So then I got on the wrong tram, and I went to the beginner side of the mountain. I was like, not the beginner side of the mountain. And I got on the snowboard, and I was like, this is going to be so sick, brother. Blasting my fucking music, blasting flowers, must have gone 2 feet and fell on my fucking face. And I was like, okay, we get rusty. You forget. Yeah. Again, on my fucking face, I'm like, I can't snowboard. I'm literally going down this mountain, and there's powder about 4 inches thick, and then beneath it is ice, so it wasn't super easy to ride. And I was like, I can't snowboard. I couldn't. I was freaking out. And then I was looking at my board, and basically there's no toe straps, which means you can only turn one way, and you can barely even do it. And I had forgotten, I've gotten a lot better, and I'd been using really nice new boards. And so then I had to find my way down the mountain on this board I could barely use, and that took about 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
If I had to go get a rental board, that took an hour. Remember, I was there at 6:30, 2.5 hours before the lifts even opened. So now that I'm finally on the mountain, I have to go again, burn all this time. Then my friend was like, take the tram to the other mountain. That takes 20 minutes. I'm finally on a board on my first run at 11, and the mountain is pure fucking ice. I was like, not an ice mountain. I'm so then I got to get back on the, I swear to God, I was 1 o'clock before I was even snowboarding.
Holy
Just
shit.
lost the whole damn day.
You jinxed it by saying it was going to be the best day.
I think there's a beautiful rhyme there, though.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
I think that the punchline there, for lack of a better term, is it went comically awry. It couldn't have gone worse.
It really could.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of the universe's kiss on that moment for you of I'm always going to tap you in the nuts a little bit, but you can still enjoy this.
Well, the
that.
kicker is, this isn't funny, but it's bragging. I'm gonna brag. I had brought a backpack for the first time with apples, and some water.
Just a backpack full of apples.
Which kind?
Yeah.
Cosmic Crisps. I had some of the golds, and I was experimenting. I found pizzazz, which was interesting. It was kind of pearish.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice.
New from Kroger. Pizzazz apples.
Not from Kroger. But anyway, so I had started the backpack thing, and I was like, I might be a backpack snowboarder. And I didn't go super hard, but the next day I snowboarded harder than I've ever snowboarded. And the app, it was the one good thing about this logistical fucking nightmare of a place. You have to be there by 7:30 or you will not snowboard. You have to be there an hour and a half early before they open, or you're not parking. You are fucked. Like
Damn.
it's like a huge ski resort with Big Bear logistics where it's like 2-lane highway and like, oh well, we didn't think people were coming to this. What? You want to park? No,
Well,
we're out.
Tahoe is just insane.
Oh, it's so
love it, but
horrible.
it's a tourist like trap.
Sure, yeah.
Not on a weekend, never again. Anyway, so I'm like super pissed at Tahoe. Everything's all expensive. And but yeah, I was a monster. The one good thing about the app is it tracked your runs, and I did 22 lifts that day, which is like 45 runs, which is like it was literally like 29 miles. I was like, okay, so I basically snowboarded from an airplane down. I was like, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Hungry as fuck. Hungry as hell. Go back to my motel room. The walls are super thin, by the way, $200 a night. Can't believe it. But I love Bernadette. We'll talk about her in a second. Anyway, I was like, I'm going to get me a burger. You guys know I'm vegetarian now at home, but I do indulge. Yes, at home. But I do indulge on trips, etc. You guys know what's coming here.
Yeah, this is a little AITA for
AITA, sure. AITA for walking out on a burger. I called pickup. I said, hey, I'm curious about the burger. How big is the patty? The guy goes, it's super thin, about 5 ounces. I go, add an extra patty there and I'll come pick it up. How long? 20 minutes. All right, I'll head right over. Go there in 20 minutes. He hands me a check for $40. 40 American dollars.
Just for the burger.
But it came with fries.
Sure. Okay.
And I just couldn't. I just looked at the check and I was like, I cannot give my $40 for this. I'm just hitting a point where I can't. And I was kind of like, you didn't even mention the upcharge. And he goes, what place doesn't upcharge for protein, bro? What place doesn't? And really raising his voice and getting very aggressive. And I was like, well, you never even said the price at all. And he just, again, what place doesn't upcharge, bro, for protein? Seriously, name one place. Name one place. And I was like, I'm sorry. I can't do this. And I walked out and then they were like, it's not In-N-Out, man.
To which I still think you could have turned around and just said like, yeah, if this was In-N-Out, you'd have healthcare and probably wouldn't have been this rude.
Right?
That's an incredibly shitty way. And that's why I'm kind of advocating you just kind of opening up with both barrels of like, yeah, that's a little jobist, sure. But like those guys are being absolute shits. And I think they were scamming you.
And the thing is, too, if he had just been a little bit like, hey, I know it's a lot, but I want you to know our burger is made from the finest burger meat. Literally, he could have been that level of detail. Then I'd been like, okay, thanks for understanding. I'm just having sticker shock.
You could say, look, it's a mountain town. Supplies are like, there is an upcharge going on right now. I just don't want you to be shocked when you see this. But
He definitely should have told you on the phone how much it was going to be.
Of course. I mean, that's standard practice.
And we had talked about this before, but like, yeah, there's definitely going to be some kind of upcharge for the extra patty.
$5, $6
but it's just
usually
that,
for an extra patty.
And it was only $4. The upcharge is only $40. The upcharge is only $4 for the patty, but the check was $40, and it also included a 20% gratuity.
For a thin 5-ounce patty, a $36 burger plus.
Wait, because you said it was $26.
The burger cost $26.
Okay.
And then I guess with the extra patty it was $30.
Okay.
And then with an $8 autograt or $6 or $7 autograt plus tax, it came out to like $39.
They just should not have autogratted you for that. The only reason why you should ever autograt somebody is when it's like a party of 6 or more.
Right.
And I don't know why you'd ever autograt on like a pickup order. Because this comes from someone that worked in the restaurant for a long time. Like anytime, I always was like, oh, I don't want to do this to-go order because I know I'm not going to get tipped as much because it's kind of common knowledge. I think you should tip, but it doesn't have to necessarily be 20%.
I mean, on picking up a burger, you're literally handing that to me. Shannon, I feel like $3 or $4 is pretty reasonable.
Yeah, like 10% I think is reasonable, but it does also depend on what their tipping out structure is. It gets kind of complicated, but I just don't think it should have been auto-grat. I think
that was part of the sticker shock.
You should have made up your own mind about that.
I didn't get to feel good about tipping either.
Right.
Also, they're acting ridiculous where the customer is always allowed to walk away before they pay. That's an absurd thing to mock somebody over. And like comparing yourself to In-N-Out is just like, this is you're just being shits. Like we're talking about a $40 burger for a 5-ounce patties, $40.
Dude, and this was not like a nice place. It was like a bar with a kitchen, you know?
And I've been sold, like the best example I have, I was up in a small mountain town once staying in a cabin, and they knowingly sold me wet firewood, which like I'm a dumb city folk, but like wet firewood don't burn. And it was like easily the biggest scam I've ever gotten. But I just didn't even think about it. You know, just like you pick it up and you just throw it in the back of the car. You don't think like, oh, this is kind of
I would hear that that phrase, like, what firewood don't burn. I'd be like, I wonder what the metaphor of that is.
Yeah.
So
But
I'd
it's
be
like literally.
oh, it's very literal. We're so
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
I get that, man.
Well,
That's
and
brutal.
also you think that they would be happy that you walked away because you know who gets to eat that burger now? Them.
I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah, you didn't do anything shitty to them.
Right.
Except,
It's the owner
call
that
their
you've been.
scam.
Right. Exactly.
I
So-
loved when people walked away from food when I worked at
Oh,
restaurants.
I think everything worked out
that's
great
true. So,
here.
That's the
so
best.
they won. Oh, good for them. I hope
Free lunch.
they were an asshole.
Because I don't think unless the establishment completely sucks, I don't think it's on them to pay for it. I know we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
I think in most situations, it's not coming out of their
They
pocket.
wouldn't be running the scam if it was.
That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't
They'd be
think he
more,
would have been so defensive.
honest.
I think even that's it's conspiracy town a little bit, but he might have known that if he's going to hit my complaints with complete lack of empathy and defensiveness, that I'm more likely to walk. And
Yep.
the autograt did seem very odd. Never seen an autograt on pickup.
He
Never
just
seen
wanted
that
a
in my
free.
life.
He just wanted a free lunch.
He likes my burger.
Oh shit!
He likes my burger.
That was it.
He was high. Heard you say make that a double, and he
He's
went
like, hell yeah.
I like that.
So those are my tales. It was a pretty great little weekend for me, y'all. We got some listener mail here. Someone writes, I just want to pop in and let you know this pod is my safe space. I listen
Oh,
to it
shit.
as much as I can.
What?
It puts me to sleep every night. Once I get through all the pods on Spotify, I'm jumping onto the Patreon. I think Danny gets too much hate. He holds himself more accountable than most of us. Keep growing, Danny, and thank you for the pod. It's helped
Hell
me
yeah.
more than you
true.
know.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
that's amazing.
That's all good. I like that.
Yeah, seriously. You were having one hell of a week.
I know. I'm on fire. It's a little weird. Something
are.
bad's gonna happen.
I'm always shocked when people tell us that they put this on when they sleep. I tried it once. Jackie got so mad at me.
Oh.
I was like, and I think that it was very fair. It's just like, I hear you enough during the day. I can't
That's
do this.
fair.
I just wanted to try it because people have mentioned it a few times. I'm like, is this a go to sleep podcast? And it's definitely not. Like,
Well,
they're
I've
not for
done-
me. Not for me.
I did it when it's like I woke up really early and like you had sent us an episode and I was like, oh, I'll put it on and like I kind of like am kind of going back to sleep-ish.
Okay,
and
I
it's
see.
like it's not
Yeah.
too bad actually.
I mean, I take it as a compliment on the
It's-
mixing
yeah, it
at least,
is.
because if
Oh,
it
for
was
sure.
badly mixed, then you would be like, it'd be all loud.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
it'd be
no rough
jarring.
voices. There's no
Yeah,
rough
it's nice
voices.
little
It's all very
voices.
smooth.
we should do an ASMR episode.
Oh, I like that. Let's do a whisper episode. And if you want an even better sleep experience, join us on Patreon where there are no ads. Yeah, those ads can be a little
Oh,
jarring.
yeah.
If you want a nice little sleep, join us. $5 a month. It's a great deal. Okay, we're going to be covering 150 plus bonus episodes, folks. All right, we're going to be covering some little sub minis here at the top, little submissions. We are working our way through the queue. Please submit. We love to see it, people. Here we go. AITA for asking my ex for money. I, 32F, broke up with my fiance 3 months ago. He has a daughter, 12F, and we always got along great. When she turned 12, she turned into an actual gremlin.
An actual one.
What was her name? Lilac is a gremlin.
Oh yeah.
That's my big sister.
She would manipulate her mom to get what she wanted and started playing everyone off against each other. Me and ex were together for over 10 years. We had a big vacay postponed from 2020. I planned and paid for me, the ex, the gremlin, and my parents.
Yes.
The cost for just ex and child was over $4,000. Me and ex earned the same, so we split all bills, but I saved up because it was Gremlin's dream to go on this vacation. This was 3 months before we broke up. Where does the gremlin want to go on vacation, Jake? What do you think?
I want to go to Honolulu.
Okay, that's pretty normal, gremlin.
I was thinking about it for a second, and I just enjoy the like.
I want to go to the fish market in Seattle.
Oh, yeah, that's
Chow down time, baby.
When we got back, ex asked if I wanted any money, but because at the time the agreement was to be together forever, I said for him not to worry about it. I always felt guilty asking for money, so I said it was fine. Since then, our relation ended. I've told him that I would appreciate if he paid some money toward the trip when he can afford it, no pressure, whenever he's ready. When I asked, he acted like I was an asshole, but I just think it's fair. My friends say I shouldn't ask again and just let it go. So AITA. There's a little note here about how much strain Gremlin put on the situation or on the relationship.
Really doesn't like Gremlin. Lolo does seem like a handful.
Hey, you know, it happens. Kids can be a nightmare.
I steal mail and switch it around in the different boxes.
Okay, that's a federal crime, Lolo. That's actually not really like cheeky gremlin energy. The FBI is outside, Lolo.
That's what a gremlin would do in our world, though. That's how you really disrupt shit. You know, what are they going to do? Arrest you? You're a gremlin.
It's true. There's no laws for grems.
Now, my question is I'm assuming you guys aren't going on this vacation anymore.
No. Oh, I thought the vacation already happened.
Oh, did it already happen?
We had a big vacation postponed from 2020. They paid. Yeah. This was 3 months before we broke up. So I think they went on the vacation.
Oh,
I think
honestly,
this is, yeah.
I think you just have to eat the cost. It's
I
in the
agree.
past.
I agree.
If it was something that like you guys canceled and it was non-refundable and it was like, look, let's try and like, let's deal with this because it hasn't happened yet.
Sure.
But I think because it already happened and you already told him don't worry about it, I would just sort of call it a wash and just like this way you don't have to talk to your ex anymore.
And I do want to tag on. I think it's a reasonable ask. I don't think that you're being obscene. I don't think you're being over the top. I just personally, breakups are breakups, and you just kind of like, it's just sort of a void on everything that's owed. It's like, and look, I've been in breakups both with platonic friends and with romantic partners. I've eaten a lot of lost money on that, and it's like once you're done with somebody, you can't expect them to step up like that. And I think that it was fair of you to ask, and it's the fact that you didn't like come at him like he owed you that money. You didn't do anything wrong. But I think you just have to eat that.
I think that's a fair rule. AITA for asking my ex for money. I think we agree. Well, you're not the asshole for asking, and I think it's actually no assholes here.
Well, except for Lolo.
Yes, the gremlin.
I stole your social security number, Daddy. I made him pay me the difference.
All right, here's another little submish for us. AITA for calling the police on my guy friend of 4 years. We condensed this one. Thank you for the epic post, OP. OP22F has been friends with Mike for 4 years, 25M. Mike struggled to get on his feet on the ground, and OP let him stay with her and her fam on and off for 2 years. In that time, he fell in love with OP, but she's a lesbian. She found out Mike was borrowing money from her family and not paying back. Eventually, he moved out, but OP and her family continued to help them a ton over the years. Mike started dating a woman, we'll call her Kelly, and all they do is argue and fight. Mike has a major temper, and it seems like an addiction to weed. Mike and Kelly have a very toxic ship, and OP often gets put in the middle of their constant fighting. Mike is emotionally abusive and manipulative to Kelly, often comparing her to OP in a negative way. One day, after witnessing a particularly bad fight, OP decides she wants to part ways with these two. When she goes to his house to tell him, Mike claims Kelly tried to unalive herself, but Kelly screams that he beat her up. OP calls the police on her friend, AITA.
There's a lot of names in this one, so bear with me as I get this all straight. I just want to make sure I have everybody's identities straight here. But I mean, immediately, Mike sounds like
Mike is a terror.
Yeah.
And the detail that OP also, like a lot of it was left out, but he was very, very manipulative and abusive to his girlfriend Kelly.
Right.
Very much so. And I mean, I think what you did was absolutely the right thing, calling the police.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
And I think you also were in the right to decide to part ways with them, because it seems over the years that you've known him, in the 4 years that you've known him, he's done nothing but cause drama in your life. And he's just a constant, like, sucking at the teat of your family and, you know, pitting you against his girlfriend for whatever reason.
Yeah. And that is sort of a signature of, I frankly haven't met enough of mentally abusive women to know for sure, but I know a signature with mentally abusive men is pitting you against people, cutting off your resources,
triangulation too,
getting you away from people who might be able to stop whatever his machinations are. That's sort of a signature. I'm so sorry that this happened.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Same. I think that, you know, we've talked a lot about involving the police, and I obviously think for people of color, it can have a very different tone and make situations worse potentially.
Oh, yeah. Also, in the post, she did mention that Mike was black, but I didn't get what OP was. She didn't mention that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I actually think a lot
I
of
did
people
miss
would
that.
not would actually change quite a few people's perspective.
Yeah, but he was like beating up his girlfriend.
Well, that's what
You don't have a choice.
That's what Kelly said.
Well,
that's what it seemed.
I don't think
mean,
you have a choice in this situation.
Well, she didn't witness anything. You know, I mean, you got to be
serious
realistic.
accusations have been levied and
Yeah.
somebody's actively in danger. I don't know. This isn't somebody walking out on a haircut. This is a woman's life in danger, and you know it's.
I just, I
What do
just,
you do? Not what do you? So what if you don't call authorities, resources, call the cops? I'll just say it because that's what it is.
I think get Kelly out of there. You know, that seems like part of it as well. You know,
De-escalate, get the police involved after, so
look,
that they're not rolling up to the scene.
I kind of think like, look, this is he said, she said. You know, I don't know that calling the police is necessarily the obvious choice. I don't know because right, it's hard to. Kelly screams that he beat her up. Well, what does that mean? Did he shove her? Did he actually leave bruises on her and markings? Because then it could be open and shut. But I think calling the cops on it. Look, here's all I'm trying to say from what I've learned discussing these. Calling the cops on a black person is just you're really raising the stakes.
No, you're right. It's a far greater escalation than I thought it was. And to be frank, like the description that I was getting, I think I was just picturing a white dude when I heard addicted to weed, because that's just something that I've met way more white dudes addicted to weed than anybody else. So
I mean, I don't think you're the asshole for involving the police. I'm just saying, like, it's always something to think about. And like, look, these situations can be they can be misunderstood. You know, I'm just saying it can get dangerous to involve the police when someone's.
I hear what you're
know?
saying. It's such a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because when I hear he said, she said for a lot of these situations, I hear he said, she said, he beat her, and that's where there's a dire lack of information here. But I'm going to believe the woman saying that because you're putting yourself at risk just by saying that. You don't have anything to gain once you put that on the table. So it's perfectly possible.
And also
somebody's
the
lying,
way
but
that she was describing it, the reason why I condensed this was it was a lot of paragraphs and we were just trying to make it a little more concise. But the way that she was describing Mike and Kelly's relationship, he was very abusive. And the scene that she walked in on was quite tumultuous.
Mike
and
also,
I think I absolutely believe she needed to call the police, and I don't think it matters about the situation was very out of hand.
I also just part of the like weighing in my mind is like Mike invoked the she's crazy, which I'm always going to be suspicious of when men invoke like that's just a red flag for me. It's such an easy go-to for so many shitty dudes I've dealt with in the past of like, it's so easy. Just paint a woman as hysterical. She's trying to kill herself. That doesn't ring true to me.
No,
given
it
this,
doesn't.
that
right.
sounds so sus. And
That
that's
sounds
where
sus.
it just doesn't make any fucking sense to what's happening.
Exactly. And his behavior prior as well with the manipulation and changing the words around that's right on par for the type of person that this guy was.
The information we have paint Mike as somebody who is capable of shitty things, and that's where I'm going to believe the woman in this situation.
And OP isn't really calling this based on a shallow thing. She does have a pretty big holistic picture here to reference. I think for these reasons, AITA for calling the police on my guy friend of 4 years, I think we do agree that it's NTA and Mike is.
Yeah, NTA.
No way around that. I do want to clarify, for whatever reason, I thought I missed two names in the beginning of this. I thought that there was a Kathleen and a Jacob. And I was
Wow, absolutely not.
You said there was a lot of names. There was two names. I don't know.
I picked that up almost immediately after saying it, but for whatever reason, I thought they were like, we were hanging out with Kathleen and Jacob.
And Jacob.
You just invented some white people, Jake.
Look, when I hear addicted to weed, I just picture some dude named Connor who has way too like strict opinions about the Matrix trilogy.
Yeah, right. All right, here's another little submish. AITA, I recently had a miscarriage. Trigger warning I don't think it goes into any real detail, but we're just throwing it out there. At the beginning, I was reluctant to tell my boyfriend's mom because I hadn't really gotten the chance to get to know her, but my boyfriend wanted to. So we went to her house one night and told her together. She got mad at us for not telling her in the beginning and then went off on me about not using birth control and said I needed to be the one that was more careful. and then told me repeatedly that it was fine, that I shouldn't be upset, and that we could try again some other time when we're ready. This made me upset, and I haven't wanted to take any time to be around her, and my boyfriend thinks I should just move on and forget about it, but I don't think that's the energy to be around AITA.
I'm always sighing over here.
This sounds like someone who's very like, it's always a classic when you do tell someone a secret or something and then they're mad at you for something around this.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you, you never tell me things. So how come you're telling me this suddenly? And it's like, that's why. Because you're literally like chastising me for finally being intimate with you, you stupid fuck.
She immediately got mad at us for not telling her in the beginning. Like, way to just like make it all about you
and justify the hesitation. Like, congratulations, you validated my read on you as a person.
Exactly.
That's why we hesitated.
Like, actually, my best friend just told me something, and like at the end, she was like, "I'm so sorry I didn't tell you before." And it's like, you never have to apologize about not telling me something. Like, you can do it in your own time. Please don't ever apologize about that.
I think it's also a sign of respect to like be selective with who you tell stuff to, because I've had friends who are just like, anytime anything is going on, everybody needs to get involved, and it's like DEFCON 4, and it's just I can never remember. I think DEFCON's lower. It doesn't matter.
DEFCON 1 is the highest.
It's DEFCON 1. They're DEFCON 1, and everybody's involved.
DEFCON 4 is no joke, though.
And it's serious.
There's a dolphin in the torpedo thing. I don't know what it means, but he's making a lot of noise. I'm trying to sleep.
DEFCON 6 is a seagull on the windshield of the airplane.
And he's pretty. Everybody come look, damn it.
But also about something that was so tragic in her life. Like, she had a miscarriage.
No, it's super personal.
So hard for anyone to go through.
I don't understand the mentality of wanting to know about a miscarriage sooner. Like, you're giving me a break and not knowing about that for the time I don't know about it, because that's a big ride. That's a big ride to go with somebody on.
That's fair.
So I think that it, like, the fact that they selected you to know this information,
to know this intimate information,
that's huge.
I don't even know why the boyfriend like wanted her to know so badly, or why the girlfriend had to be involved. Like, couldn't he just tell his mom on his own? And then because look at the way she's responding. She went off on me about not using birth control and said that I needed to be the one that was more careful. Oh, what about your son?
Yeah, no, trash take. Right, it takes her from petty shithead to like borderline evil.
Yeah,
and I actually like something that you did, Jake, recently, is I thought I was asking for criticism and you still couched it a little bit, because I had done something pretty fucking stupid. I was in a conflict with someone and I texted them instead of calling. I know better. And I was asking your guys' opinion on it, and Jake, you were like, I hope this doesn't sound cruel, but I would characterize what you did as thoughtless. And I thought that was very fair. You kind of couched it for me.
I think that it's important to, when you're giving criticism, especially about things like this, not criticism about, hey, I made this thing. Hey, does this outfit look good? Criticism about, I'm involved in a serious situation with another person. I think it's important to try to give people a frame of where you're coming from in the criticism.
Well, and I think by couching it that way, you were also setting me up to go, hey man, I'm just not ready for that right now. By couching it like, hey dude, you're being too harsh and too real on this.
Sure.
But I wasn't. I actually wanted you guys to just say, and I agreed with you, it was thoughtless.
But I think specifically that word, thoughtless, to me is like, it wasn't, I didn't think that it was coming from a place of absent-minded meanness, which is different than just
right. It was thoughtless.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was the perfect word. But the fact that you couch it with that it could come off as cruel, I understood why you did that, because there are people who, or in a different situations, I wouldn't have been ready to hear a fair characterization.
Sure.
Sometimes we're not ready for that. You know, was this miscarriage the result of irresponsibility? It's very possible. I don't know. But clearly that this conversation, this is something you need to feel out and tread carefully, because obviously this is it's a tragic thing to happen. It's a hard thing to happen. So for mom to start fucking swinging a knife at you and saying, you know, for her to go off on you about not using birth control, completely inappropriate.
Well, and my question with that comment is went off on me about not using birth control. So is she now just finding out that they had a pregnancy to begin with?
Yeah.
Or is she finding out about the miscarriage?
That's my read.
So she's judging them for accidentally getting pregnant.
Yes.
So that's the issue.
Yeah.
I think it could, especially the birth control comment. I don't want to give her too much grace, but this might be her emotionally processing, I'm going to be a grandma. No, I'm not. So I don't want to give her too.
I like that.
I don't want to give her
grace.
too. Like I'm given the acknowledgement that is an emotional ride in and of itself. But the birth control comments super damning. The fact that she honed in on the woman that experienced that instead of the man that is involved as the father, who is her son. The fact that she wasn't addressing them as a duo even while choosing to be cruel. That makes it tough for me to lean that way. But it is, she's a human. That could be a part of this puzzle.
It's not my read, but I will say if we were going down that path where basically this was an impulsive reaction, mom got huffed. She saw grandma, then she saw grandma disappear, and she was in a bad state, and she's got some internalized misogyny, and she fired off some shots at you. Then I would say, OP, maybe be open to an apology here, or maybe an apology will come around. But that's not my read. Because my read is that mom did this because she has internalized misogyny, but she's also someone who, when is told things, is vindictive about it. Yeah. And she doesn't have good, I don't know what you call it. It's not really a conflict, but she doesn't have good intimacy skills, basically, right?
Especially to get mad at someone who just had a miscarriage that lost their child.
Give me a break, right?
It's one thing like if,
your husband was murdered, or were you supervising him? It's like,
and why didn't you tell me about it sooner?
Yeah.
Honestly,
It's been 48 hours. The first 48. That's when they can catch.
there.
I could have caught the murderer.
And also, who the fuck said that it's the woman's job to be responsible for not getting pregnant?
What a joke.
What is that? I've never even heard that in my life where it's solly on the woman.
Oh, I've heard it.
I've heard it out of the Capitol building,
shared.
unfortunately.
I also feel like this is just some bullshit.
It
Fuck
is
this
bullshit.
mom.
I'm so sorry that this happened
Mama's
to you.
boy. That's where I wanted to go. That I'm seeing some mama's boy energy.
Sure.
So she's, it wasn't her son. Not my son.
Yeah,
my
not
son
my
did nothing
son.
wrong. And also this weird thing of like being adamant to tell boyfriend's mom. It's like, what? No, that is your guys'
strange
decision to make. Get that
Right.
fucking nuisance mother out of this fucking relationship.
Right. Why does she need to be involved at all?
If she's not comfortable, she doesn't need to be involved. It's none of her business, and she shouldn't be involved. And she owes you an apology.
And your boyfriend thinks that you should just move on and forget about it. No, maybe he should talk to his mother about this. You guys are a team.
Yeah.
Agree. I think we all.
This is sad. I'm really sorry.
It is sad.
Yeah, it's really
OP,
upsetting.
And I'm
We're
really
sorry that
sorry
happened to you.
what you went through. And thank you for writing in.
You deserve better.
AITA I recently had a miscarriage. It's a no-brainer. NTA.
NTA.
Guys, thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Please join us on Patreon. What can you get on Patreon, guys?
Oh, you can get 150 bonus episodes.
So many of them.
If you get up to the $25 tier, you can even get on an episode with us.
Yeah. Doesn't that sound awful?
Is it with us? Are you guys gonna?
We'll be in those if they want us. I mean,
if
they
you
can.
want.
You
Actually,
can
they
decide.
should choose who they want.
I hope. Are you signing up to meet on another day? Because we don't have that much time. But anyway,
we'll figure it out.
Well, maybe.
we're
we'll
Jake
see.
and Shannon, and we're making promises we can't keep. Look, you definitely get an episode of me, baby. I'll be there. I've been there since the beginning, my loves.
They're like, okay, wait, never mind.
Fuck that. Join us on Patreon, ad-free episodes, tons of bonuses. We love to see it. All right, guys, we're trying a segment here that I'm really dreading, but let's just get it over with.
I'm so excited
looking
for
forward to this for
this.
over a month.
I've been thinking
I've
about this all week.
Pulled up my Hinge profile, and now Shannon and Jake are going to criticize
We're
it or
going to
react to
criticize
it.
it.
Well,
just
it's
try-
Hinge court.
Have to sit here and take it.
And we're going to try and explain it as best as we
Sure,
can.
okay.
All right,
So
so
this is
this
the
is what
opening
they're going to
shot.
see. This is
Yeah.
what they see.
So the opening picture is me with a, what do you call that?
A lei. Like
lei.
a Hawaiian lei.
Okay, there's already messaging going on here. You're
yeah,
looking
you
to
got
get laid.
And he
I
has
mean, okay.
a gray crew neck that says expenses on it.
Yeah,
That's kind of cute.
my friend got me that.
I don't hate the sweater. I do think you're technically opening on a funny shirt, and my policy with funny shirts is it's very hard to wear them. They usually wear you. However, this is muted. It's not.
Why is it funny? It's just
as expenses.
It's like a parody almost or something.
It's something. It's not just a sweater. You are putting a message forward, but
it's for a super boring company that's like expense reporting.
I see. It kind of looks like a college sweater.
Yeah, it does. It's like a Letterman.
Actually, my friend
thing.
had a shirt on this past weekend that was similar, and it said bacteria across it.
Okay,
and it was for us. So it's like it's kind of like it's a little joke.
It's a little cheeky.
It's a little
not
cheeky
a joke.
joke.
I'm not
It's not
gonna
a
give it
joke shirt. It's not a joke shirt.
No.
It's a parody shirt.
It's
it is
cheeky.
It is dry. It's muted.
And you look good in this picture.
You do look good. You look good.
You look very nice. He's given a little smirk. His eyes are like squinty, but he looks relaxed.
You do look distinguished here. Like if you told me you're a college professor, I could believe that from this picture.
Oh yeah,
This is crazy.
you look great in this picture. This is a great starter pick. I think.
I want to see the other pics because I've seen you look very saucy in a lot of pics. I've seen you're photogenic.
I think you look great in this picture.
When I first saw it, I thought, I don't know about this as an opener, but this needs to lead it off because if this is anywhere else in the mix, I don't think it puts over the parts of you that you want to get in those later
All right,
pics.
let's move on. We've got enough on the picture.
We'll instantly hit it off if you like Tim Robinson, you enjoy adventures like hikes or interesting cuisine, have an icon pass. What is that for snowboarding?
That's the snowboarding thing. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like
That's
that.
good. If somebody's into that, they immediately know what it is. And it's a conversation opener if they don't know what it is.
This is going well so far. I'm
And
scared of how
interesting
well it's going.
cuisine. That's good too. I know you like your food.
I like a quiz.
Yeah.
Scene.
I can be a bit intimidated to go out with foodies because I'm suddenly just like, oh God, I'm going to bring them to the wrong place and they're going to think I'm a dull wit tongue or whatever. So but
it's
also,
the other way around. So
Right.
he's usually the one that's going to pick the date.
Yeah.
The first date, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. The most spontaneous thing I've done. Oh, we got an audio clip here.
Yeah, play
Let's
it up
hear
to
it.
the mic. God.
I met a friend of a friend, and we were just chill. We didn't even particularly vibe, but he was like, you want to go on a 2-day snowboarding trip? And we just went, and we'd only probably spoken for a total of like 20 minutes of attentive conversation. And we freaking drove 10 hours and had the time of our lives, and it was incredible, So let's vibe.
No,
You need to
don't
re-record
like
this
that.
immediately.
Don't like that.
I don't think that the story's
The
story's
story's
workable.
not bad. It's your voice.
You sound like Buffalo Bill from what's that? Silence of the Lambs. Duh. I went snowboarding with a friend.
But like a bro version. Like you
Bro.
sound way more bro than you are.
Okay.
And you have a really good level speaking voice, and you're coming down.
I think I
here.
recorded that in bed.
Yeah, you're like,
It sounds like you recorded it in bed, and that bothered me a little bit.
It's lazy.
Yeah, it was kind of lazy.
If you're
You
gonna
sound so bro here. Like you don't come across.
Okay.
you gotta record that like you're doing a set. You gotta put your best foot forward.
Yeah, and be like, like energy and goofy, like how you can be. But it's too broy, especially because you're talking about snowboard.
There's something Blumhouse about it. There's something like, oh, this man might be a terrifying mate. I don't want to go on the mountain with this man. Why is he talking about the mountain so much?
Okay, next. You should leave a comment if you're down to leave at 2 a.m. for a wild and unforgettable trip to anywhere. 2 a.m.
That is, you picked the snowboarding hour.
Yeah, but you didn't mention that it's snowboarding
I
hour.
already said that in the audio. I don't want it to be too repetitive.
Well, and it could be a fun, unforgettable trip to anywhere. It could just be to Santa Barbara. But the 2 a.m.
But 2 a.m. is so specific. I would honestly.
No, you gotta be down though.
No, but
That's the problem. Right
but
there.
Danny, I would say like 4 a.m. because then that makes more sense that it's like, oh, we're getting up in the
tweak
morning.
on this. We're getting 2 more hours of
No,
sleep.
Because
you're getting
the 2 a.m. is
22
like,
more hours.
what?
Look at it the other way around. You're getting 22 more hours.
No,
Wind
but-
the clock back.
Okay.
Because 4 a.m. is like, oh, okay, we're getting up early to go somewhere. 2 a.m. is like, wait, are we staying up late?
Or you could say 9 p.m. because that suggests that you are on a first date and you have
No, but
just
it's-
spontaneously
okay.
said, Do you want to go to Sydney
Oh,
with
I see
me?
what you're saying. It seems like we stayed up because I said you're down to leave, not wake up. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. All right,
yeah,
this is good
yeah,
note.
yeah.
This is a good note.
So maybe when you're down to wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
for a
all right.
wild
I
and
accept that.
unforgettable
This is a good
trip
note.
to
This is a
anywhere.
good
Yeah,
note.
perfect. Okay, so now it says he's 33, man, straight, 5'10".
I'm wearing my Hokas. They add an inch.
Danny!
5'10".
I joke that I'm 5'8", but I actually am 5'9". That's actually
Well,
true.
then put 5'9". Because if I was swiping on you, okay, I'm 5'10", and then I met up with you and I was like, he's shorter than me.
Am I shorter than you though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Are you 5'9"?
Let's check right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Can you stand up?
Okay, yeah. Here, hold my mic, Jake.
Yeah. Here, hold
All right,
that.
we're standing
All right,
up. He
I'm
has his
standing
shoes
up
on,
to-
though. You have to take your shoes off.
take my shoes off.
Oh,
You-
well, then
you
we'll be the
just said
same
they add an inch.
height. And I have my
Shannon.
headphones on.
It's dead even with the
With
shoes
his
on.
shoes on.
So
So, yeah, you're 5'9". Why don't you just tell the truth? Because honestly, as a 5'10",
I am telling the truth. It's with shoes on. I'm not
Danny.
meeting up
No,
with them with
Danny.
shoes off.
No, okay, no, but I also have shoes on too. If I'm meeting up with you, so if I'm 5'10" and I meet
fine,
up
I'll
with
put
you,
5'9".
huge. It's a huge landmine on the first date.
For
it
an
is,
inch
because then you're
off.
lying.
It's lying though,
Guys,
man.
but I don't even go on a date with a girl who's Shannon's height. That's too tall. I'm not an airplane.
You say that now.
All right, fine.
Be honest.
Just be honest.
Be honest.
I am. That's how tall I am from the floor.
Yeah, but they have shoes on
that's
too.
honest. Yeah, they have shoes on too, and it's their business how
this
they
is what
measure
you were
themselves.
fearing. That you knew we were gonna see this.
I'm not changing that shit. I
And
think
the only reason that we know you're not that tall is because you talk about it on
All
your
the time,
podcast
and then
all
they
the
hear it, and then they're
Well,
gonna
it's
go and listen to the
funny.
podcast, and they're gonna be like, "Wait, this dude's 5'8".
all right, fine. I'll put 5'9". That's the truth.
Happy medium here. Split the difference. Okay, Echo Park, Hispanic/Latino, white/Caucasian, don't have children, vaccinated, oh, he even put his sign, Sagittarius, no drinking, no smoking, no weed smoking.
Yeah, I guess I could change.
You
that.
should do sometimes.
And then I put
And then he put
pills
sometimes for
sometimes.
pills. That's interesting.
Well,
is that
I mean,
like
I should
allowed?
change that. That's-
I think you should just get rid of that.
Yeah.
The pills thing.
Yeah.
I'd
What
be
What does
like
pills even mean?
like
I don't know why I put
oxys.
that. Yeah. I'm not getting pills.
It kind of signals like, look, I've had some terrible fucking first dates. Please don't be on pills.
Yeah.
I need to change
Look,
that.
sometimes. I think get rid of it completely and then just put sometimes for weed.
Okay.
All right. He's a managing producer from Casa Grande, Arizona.
Oh, I changed that. That used to be New York. I think I changed that so you wouldn't catch me in another lie. I used to put my hometown as New York City.
Oh, that's not terrible.
That was there 10
no.
years. That was there
Casa
10
Grande,
years.
own it. That's a conversation
Wait,
starter.
can you
Where's
also
Casa
put
Grande?
New
No
York
one
somewhere?
cares.
Like, can you do New York?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
You could say Casa Grande by way of New York.
Yeah. Oh, but I think
No,
it's like,
it's all- okay.
yeah.
Do that.
So then he's looking for a short-term relationship, open to long. I could be down for something serious, but not in any rush. Okay, that's fair.
Reasonable.
Okay, then he has a picture with Christy, who you guys all know from the pod and the
Solid
live
picture.
show.
I do think, Shannon, back me up on this, is pictures with one other member of the sex you
Oh,
are
the
trying to
opposite
attract.
sex.
That can be a turnoff for people. That is a trope for some people of like that they don't like seeing that. And I don't know if that's like
because then they could be like, "Who is this girl?"
Doesn't bother me. I mean, I see girls with guys all the time. I'm like, hey, she has a guy friend. Good for her.
Maybe not it.
I'm just
Maybe it
started-
shouldn't be your second picture. I think you
Okay.
should switch this one.
So she's pointing to one of me in a suit at a wedding.
I would think
Yeah.
I would honestly think
Or
that
in an
she's your
apartment.
sister based on its placement.
Yeah, because
in your
also
lineup.
you're very like their arms are around
look
each
kinda
other
similar,
in a
yeah.
very
Yeah.
like friendly way.
does.
Christy
Kind of my
also
sister.
looks great in this picture, and I feel like it's making you compete. And that's just something to like is, I'm just saying you want to be the star of the show in those early picks.
I guess.
Well, it's to be fair though, it's not the best picture of Christy. Like Christy has looked
I think
better.
it's a good.
I think it's
a
great.
It's a little
Christy.
blurry. She looks a little
A little
blurry.
blurry.
All right, we're
I
not
still
here.
think that she would come
But-
off as your sister if I was on your dating app.
All right,
Actually,
let's-
this is the photo that is our cover.
Oh, it is, isn't
Yeah,
it?
so if anyone looks at the cover of AITA, the picture of Danny, this is like where it came from. Second one, he says, "I'm learning how to," and then you have a suit on.
Yeah.
this
Okay,
this
that's a good
picture
one.
does have a certain "I'm a very good boy" quality to it.
No, I am
He
a
is
very
a
good boy.
very good boy. Do you ever wear not your glasses?
Only when I snowboard, as
Oh, okay.
I have dailies, and so.
All right. Unusual skills. I have one of those freaky one-wheeled scooters, but you're not skilled at it.
Okay.
I like that specifically because it makes it sound like you're afraid of something you own. Like, I have one of those one-wheeled scooters, but I am so fucking scared of getting on that thing.
I'm pretty nasty on it, Shannon.
I've seen a video of it.
Well, he was just starting.
Now that I got it,
now you're good at it?
I mean, I think I'm pretty decent. Like,
You
I'm
need
gonna
to send
be
me
better
proof.
than,
You need to
like,
send me proof of that.
Were you as good as that guy that I sent y'all video of?
No, that guy.
No, that
Jake
guy
sent
was
us a video of a
booking.
guy on like a unicycle thing going like 50 miles an hour.
He was booking it down Ventura
That was
Boulevard.
crazy. All right, so then this
So then
is
he goes,
me,
my Instagram story mostly contains, and it's him praying next to, who is that?
Larry from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, yes. And they're both doing the same praying
Sure.
pose. And it says, get in Vegas's ass, Larry. Get in Vegas's ass,
it's
Larry.
a Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Sure.
Okay,
And-
yeah, I
and
like that.
That has a big cult following. So anybody who's into that show, you've got an immediate jump off.
I've actually
Yeah.
never gotten a response on that though. Might have to lose that. Wow, this is excruciating. Are we almost done?
Yes. My most irrational fear, I'm 100% sure my death will involve a leg press or confronting
I guess I did
a
assume the
roid
girls who
bro
would read this
at the
could read.
gym for
All right, take it from the top, Shannon.
Okay.
My most irrational fear, I'm 100% sure my death will involve a leg press or confronting a roid bro at the gym for not wearing a shirt or shoes.
Oh, okay.
Is that your fantasizing about street justice fight, Danny? Confronting
I've wanted to report people to the gym like 4 times now and done nothing. And I'm like, I'm going to be killed by an unhinged man.
Oh, you should just go to Planet Fitness, man. You're not going to see any of those bros.
Yeah, dude, I go to like the people at my gym are like, I'm Hulk Hogan. Like they're all gigantic, man.
That was a terrible impression of me, brother.
They make you look like a Geo Metro.
I think that the first part, I'm 100% sure my death will involve a leg press, just end it there. I think that's funny.
No,
That's
that's funny.
fine.
I can relate to that.
I see that all over Hinge, though. It's kind of hack. But
Every
that's
time.
fair. Yeah.
They say that,
that's
the
a
leg
lot of
press
girls
thing?
put that. Yeah, a lot of girls put that. It's hack. I'm a hack.
Oh. Well, could you say something else?
Yeah, I will write something
You are a
else.
comedian.
I'm going to become a whole new person after this experience.
No, I think your
I'm
profile
done.
looks
I'm deleting
great.
all
I would
this
give
shit.
I would give this B plus A minus.
Okay, I can handle that.
I think the recording is my biggest thing
We'll
so
fix the
far.
recording. All
The
right.
recording. Then he has another one where he's snowboarding with like his goggles on, and like you can't see his face at all, and it says MAGA's taking their profile pic because it's completely covered.
Okay.
This got a great response on Instagram.
I think
Okay.
that's good.
a lot of
Yeah.
people thought it was
I think
funny.
that's fine. It also shows that you're left leaning for the girls.
That's true. That
like
eliminates
that.
the
Yeah. My Instagram story mostly contains, and then nothing like a flight when visibility is approximately 1 plane. That's cute too.
Sure.
I like that. And then you can see his Instagram, and it's pics of it's just me and Jake
all over
Yeah.
the place.
all over the
All
place.
my favorite talls. Okay,
I
this
think you
wasn't
did
that
pretty
bad.
good.
We got some good notes here.
Yeah, this is a great picture. I think overall your pictures show what you look like. But yeah, because my one note is always to people like, don't put like the best photos of you in the whole world, because then people are like, wow, that doesn't look like you. You
Right.
kind of have to put like your more normal, like some that look pretty good.
Yeah.
Mostly that look pretty good. But you can't put like I'm not going to put like my like acting headshots.
Don't do headshots.
Because they're
That's
like
huge
professional and
whiff.
they look like amazing. That's just not what I look like in person.
You're asking.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah,
That's fair.
But you don't have any of those. That's
Yeah, those look great. You can see what you look
Should
like.
I put one headshot on there though? I do have some good headshots.
Do you?
You know which one? Shannon, tell me if I'm wrong on this. One of Danny's pictures when he's running. One of those.
Where?
You know the ones where he's shirtless and he's running?
No, I haven't seen those.
I don't run anymore. You know, I just strength train.
I think you should put that video of you on the one wheeler with the helmet and the elbow pads.
That's true.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I
On
would
the
think
trail,
that was
though,
funny.
I go. That's because that's the thing. A lot of these one wheelers, like my friend Kyle, he just goes, he commutes with it, and I was like, you ever like fuck up a trail? And he's like, not really, dude. And so we go and like,
Oh, have you
know.
been doing that?
yeah, I don't
So I guess
like to
you are
ride it
good
on the
now.
street because I know I'm gonna be killed by LA traffic.
This is so very Surge of you. You're creating
yeah.
the next
Oh,
Surge
yeah.
commercial.
Dude,
with
it's
this one.
Yes.
so fun. I
Let's
mean,
make one.
You got to get crazy low, and then you can ride like straight up mountain bike terrain. Like
Wow.
it's really rad, bro.
It
so
is
like, do you want to go on a
rad.
2 a.m. adventure, bro? Like, bro, do you?
I woke up at 2 a.m.
2
to
a.m.
go snowboarding with my main dog.
People just reading it like, this guy has a really weird sense of time. I'm not sure if he's a partier. Why is he waking up so early?
Is he like a security guard at a hospital? Why is his sleep schedule so off?
There's no mention of third shift. This is so weird.
Yeah.
So
thank God we helped you out. Let us know how that works for you too.
I mean, that profile has already potentially worked a couple times, so whatever.
Well, I'm sure it has.
A little bit of souping
Just
up.
1 or 2 times.
We'll be in an ever increasing better place. All right, guys, we got one heck of an ep for you today. Our second story of the day. AITA because I-28F indirectly called my friend ugly. But first, folks, it's AITA for making a teenage girl weigh herself at the top of a water slide. Oof. I work as a lifeguard at a water park. Part of my job includes managing the top of the water slide. I'm to make sure no one does anything dangerous like going face first, cramming too many people in one inner tube, etc. I actually could have gone for a longer list here. I'm curious of all the possible. How else can this go wrong? I'm also instructed to ask anyone who looks like they could be over the weight limit, 250 pounds, to weigh themselves on our scale and deny them entry if they refuse. I'm not super comfortable with this, but it's much better than risking people's safety. Here lies the problems. I lift weights, and for this reason, I'm very dense. I weigh 185 pounds, but somehow wear a size 6. Most of my friends also lift and have similar body comps to me. For this reason, I have trouble estimating how much someone weighs. This problem presented itself last weekend when an overweight teenage girl wanted to ride the slide. She most likely wasn't over 250 pounds, but I wasn't sure. I've gotten better at estimating, but my supervisor says if there's any chance they're over 250, to weigh them. So I approached her gently and asked her to please get on the scale. She met me with a snarky teenager attitude and said, "What if I refuse?" She was with a group of teenagers, some of whom were giggling. "Then you won't be allowed on the slide," I said, matter-of-factly. She rolled her eyes and got on the scale, and her weight wasn't even close to 250, so I felt kind of bad. So then she said, "See," and went along with her friends. Although she gave me tood, I could tell she was embarrassed. Her face was red, and as she went back to her friends who were all thin, I asked my supervisor, how would he have handled it? And he said, I did the right thing. It's better to hurt someone's feelings than break someone's bones. That's a classic water slide phrase.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they say.
The water slide folk, that's an old tenant.
You don't know? We say that on the slides. However, yesterday I was called into the office of the owner of the water park. Wow, to the owner. She told me she received an angry email from a parent about how I embarrassed their child in front of her friends. I explained to her that I was just following protocol, and she asked how much the girl actually weighed. I gave her the answer, and she laughed and told me I could never get a job as a weight guesser at a carnival and that I need to do my job better.
Aww.
To be fair, those jobs are highly competitive. Everybody's looking for that work right now.
There's a guy with one tooth who is a wicked weight guesser.
You're never getting past old Larry.
My supervisor is backing me up and saying I was doing what he's required me to do. I'm thankful for his support, but honestly, this whole situation is making me feel like an asshole. I know teenage girls are vulnerable, as I was a teenage girl not too long ago and could have possibly handled the situation with more care. But at the same time, safety is my first priority. Does that make me the asshole?
I just want to get this out of the way because I have to bring it up. How fucking cool does being the owner of a water park sound in like theory? In fact, like that just sounds like I, J.P. Bubblesworth, have been founding Tsunami Cove for the last 50 years, and I've never seen an affront like this on our reasonable weight limit requirements. It just got his private office. It's really nice. Anyway, okay, I'm done. I'm done.
My first job was working at the water park.
That tracks.
Yeah,
was it Action Park?
No.
Oh, man. We got to talk about Action Park on here someday.
Yeah. No, it was at the Jersey Shore.
Okay, tracks.
At 14.
Wow. Child labor.
It's wild that lifeguards can start that young. Of just like,
well, I wasn't a lifeguard. I was a customer service, like guest services.
Oh, okay. That's
ticketing
reasonable.
And stuff. Yeah.
I worked at a Quiznos when I was 14.
Oh, nice. I loved Quiznos back in the day.
It was fire back then. Yeah, everything toasted. Anyway.
It had a run.
Well, I definitely, you were just doing your job. And, I think that the policies at this water park are pretty rough.
I mean, that's definitely like they're covering their butts on lawsuit, enforcing that policy. My heart goes out to you because I think that you just had a gaffe here and you were trying to do your job. I worked at a theme park. The way that I always handled, and we never had anything like this, but the way that I handled singling anybody out, single their group out. And you can easily make it seem like it's just a random check that they do with everybody, make everybody weigh. And if anybody asks, you can just say, every 100 people, we've got to do a check on weight. It's really just like a park policy thing for safety.
Easy thing to white lie about. Totally agree. That said, I'm not really ready to pin any charges on OP. You came into an employment. There was a policy. Obviously, somebody else would have shown you how this goes. They explained it. You know, would it be better if you tried to optimize it? Yeah, it would be better. You'd be a better employee, a more thoughtful employee, a smarter person. But it doesn't make you an asshole because you did what you were told. I mean, you were trying your best. You thought this was the way to approach this. This is what you were taught.
Yeah. Some comments were saying, which I think is an amazing solution, is that everyone should be weighed.
That's what I was saying.
I think Jake's solution works great, though. It's just like,
you're saying everyone, literally everyone.
Because that's an inefficiency. It's like, well, don't do that, but just be like, oh, sorry, guys, we got to do random. I mean, it's just like the airport, except they're racist.
Yeah, but isn't that so obvious that like that's the reason why?
You think so, but when people are at theme parks, especially, and water parks fall under that umbrella, the brain is off. You just do what people tell you to do. You're full cattle mode. These teenagers wouldn't have thought twice about it if you're just like, all right, guys, we got to just do that for me. They would have been like, why? We have to do it every 100 people. It's basically just a structural integrity thing.
That's great. I think that's great. Share Mom 43 writes, no assholes here, but used to suggest the work park that everyone gets weighed. But again, I think that's a very thoughtless solution, because if you weigh every single person, that's going to make the line longer. It sucks for everyone.
Yeah,
everybody's getting pissed at that point.
Sucks.
I don't know. I honestly think that's a good solution.
No,
and
you just
one of
weigh
the
random people.
They were saying that they've been somewhere where it was like the number didn't pop up either, and it was just a red light and a green light, meaning you can go or you can't, instead of being like, oh, look, this woman weighs 245 pounds.
That's a lot of funding, though, and we're talking about, like, Hurricane Harbor might have that, but Dan Slip and Slide Town probably doesn't.
Exactly. I, JP Bubblesworth, have limited capital. I can only afford to scale off Amazon.
I can't afford to scale on every slide. It would put me out of business. I'd be the laughing stock of the water park community.
You know, JP Bubblesworth, too, is like, we don't take credit, cash only. Like, what? No. We will use cash registers. What?
Yeah, I guess if they didn't have the money for this, then I guess what you said is the best solution.
It's fine. Now, weighing everyone is like such a blind, like, I know the solution. Let's ruin it for everybody. It's like, how is that productive? Like, the problem here was soloing her out. So don't solo her out. Don't pick her first. Be like, hey, we gotta weigh your group. Are you with some people? It's a quota. We gotta fit. Like, there's a million ways to do this smoothly.
You can get away with so much at work when you just act like the policy is dumb, and you like if you just
that was always my go-to
I'm sorry,
move.
Man. It's the policy.
If I don't do it, I get dinged. It's just bear with me.
Nobody cares. They want to go down the fucking slide.
Yeah,
they
whenever
don't care.
I was a waitress, like, and people would like, we couldn't do substitutions, and I would be like, I know, like, I hate it too. It doesn't make any sense to me. And they were all, and then like immediately they're like, your tip's fine because you're like, you're on their side. You're with the people.
And I would have bought that $40 fucking burger if he had met me there. Like, I know, dude, it's expensive, but it's worth it. Or anything.
When I was in dispensaries and people see that 35% tax hit their total in the market, people get fucking mad about it.
It's brutal.
And all you have to do is just be like, man, tell me about it. It's fucking killing the legal side of our industry. And they see that in you, and they're just like,
you're on their side.
See their side a little bit. I think this one is a no-brainer. This just seems like...
Well, hold on a second now.
You got a defense?
I don't like that the owner got mad at her employee over this.
Well, yeah, I'm happy about it.
Somebody who owns the means of production is a dick? What?
Yeah, it's wild because it's literally her policy.
Yeah.
Like she was just doing what she was told by your policy that you have. And I know safety first, but at the same time, like, you need to come up with a better structure for this lady who owns this. Like, it sounds like it's a you problem, not a me problem.
But somebody who, and I'm thinking here, because this has to be some kind of, if this is the owner and this isn't a simplification of her role as like chief operating officer or whatever, if she owns this place, this isn't a national chain. And there's tons of those water parks that belong to a chain of national places. They probably wouldn't have policies like this. They could afford the equipment that Shannon's talking about. So this is probably a privately owned, I'm guessing, small market water park. just from how
Probably,
this
yeah.
is like you're being called in front of the owner. What kind of fucking serfdom shit is this? That's not how the chain of command should work. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this hierarchy is a little.
You know, the assistant manager is on deck. No, I want to see them myself.
Right. Like, why is the owner fielding emails? This whole
Yeah.
business.
Wow,
says-
that's the real question. How did this get all the way up? Is this a friend of the owner?
And I took their ticket, and as I was cleaning the bathrooms, it really started to bother me. What? How many jobs do you have here? Yeah,
And
no.
also, this is going to stick with this girl for probably the rest of her life. Like, I think that this was probably a very embarrassing thing for her.
It's pretty embarrassing.
It's embarrassing,
It'd be
and
embarrassing
her
for
friends
anyone.
weren't helping with the laughing,
the giggling
the
and stuff.
giggling.
Like, oh, your friends sound like
Kids
they're
don't
terrible.
kids don't know what to fucking do.
And I
but-
don't know if I'm gonna get any hate for this, but with the part where she says that, what was it, like, safety is more important than. Do you guys see it
Safety
anywhere?
is
It
more-
says that it's better to hurt someone's feelings than break someone's bones. Like, I don't know that I agree with that. Is that wild to say?
I think that is wild. Shannon.
You're more okay with breaking somebody. I'm just calling it like we're talking about it. You're more okay with somebody's bones getting broken than their feelings getting hurt.
I don't know, like, to get like that traumatized for the rest of your life. I can just imagine like somebody, a teenage girl who's really embarrassed in front of her friends, who's probably already self-conscious about her weight because she hangs out with these girls that are a lot more societally acceptable body types. I can almost imagine her being like, yeah, I would actually rather break my wrist than be that completely
I think
embarrassed
that
in
that's so
front
much
of
more.
people.
I think that is where we start flirting with traumatization because she's going to remember
right.
the time.
The fact that she
I hurt
broke
myself
the
and I had
water
to
slide.
keep it. You don't tell anybody really about what happened to that. You hold that inside. I think that because what we're asking here, we're asking for miracles now, where we're asking for, we know that the person at the top of the slide asking for the check weight isn't the asshole, but we're also asking them to weigh all of these incredibly delicate factors when this is just somebody who is out in the sun all day in their job and they know they have one job to do up at the
Right.
top of the slide, which is clock for people who might be close to this weight limit. And you don't see that, like, it's just not going to be a weight you see that much. I think that, you probably are really bad at guessing weight if you think like I'm usually hovering somewhere between 250 and 270 these days.
Whoa,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I'm actually down. I think now I'm down to 270 for the first time in a while.
What?
I was
Nice.
when we started recording this, I was 290.
Dude, I thought you weighed like 220.
That's
never
where I
go
was at.
that
That's where I was
high.
at in like college.
Holy
But
shit.
No, I'm a big dude, and it's not the same. Like
You're not a big dude. You're a small bear.
But see, that's the thing. A guy can get jokes like that for being this type of big.
Yeah.
I do think, and like, granted, women are always going to go through more shit for this. But a 13-year-old boy, super overweight, this would be shitty for him too. I think that there is a universal experience there, but I think it
Totally.
comes back. Do we need to have a higher standard
Right.
societally? And like, granted, like that's now we're asking for miracles again.
Yeah.
We're asking for the world.
And
to
you're
just be
right. It
different.
would be way more embarrassing that if then they got hurt because they were overweight.
I think that
Like,
would be awful. And then then that now you're involving multiple people and it's a whole catastrophe and you're going to start internalizing the shit as like, this happened because I'm overweight. Instead of maybe one day being able to look at this as like, I was heavier than my friends. Somebody made a bad call. And like, it's easy to say like, this is after going to therapy or whatever else. But like, I should have brushed that off because there's nothing wrong with me being the way I was. And somebody did a bad job of guessing at how much I weigh.
Yeah, well, and I think this could be. I think one frame of looking at this is this a trauma? Is this a trauma? Was I triggered? Or another way to maybe look at it is this a defining moment? Because I do think this was a betrayal. It might not have been the end of these friendships, but I think it was a telling sign. And if she can confront those friends and be like, "Hey, I thought it was really messed up that you guys laughed at me when I was put in this vulnerable position," and the friends go, "You're right, we're sorry."
That's ideal.
That makes a friendship stronger and better.
Actually, I have a story that is.
Shannon was this lifeguard.
When we were on the boardwalk, the good old Jersey Shore, there was a guesser there.
There was a guesser.
There was for
Larry.
like a carnival guesser. It was guess your weight, guess your birthday, or guess your age. And so you could choose which one you wanted to.
One guy did all of them?
Yeah, but he would guess like whatever one you wanted.
Right,
to
but
pick.
that's still nuts that he was
Age, wait, what was the third one? Birthday.
Or birthday. They were all just like, I mean,
guy's a
especially the
monster.
birthday, like you're just throwing dart at the wall. But
There's
my
cold
mom
reading,
wanted
though.
to do it. And so I was like 8 and she was like 38. I was like 7. She was 37, something like that. She was like almost 40.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to do the age. And so he guessed that she was like 40 or like 41 or 42 or something like that. And she made the biggest scene in the entire world, like screaming, crying, and like, if you're gonna guess wrong, then guess lower. And let me tell you, I'm going to use that word. That was traumatic for me and my sister. We were super embarrassed. And honestly, it really imprinted on us that getting old was like the worst thing in the world that could ever happen to you. So I grew up, sorry, Mom, I know you're listening, but I grew up, and she was always very upset about her weight. So I grew up learning that being heavy and growing old were like the two worst things that could ever happen to you, basically, by her actions.
Yeah.
So there's a little personal story there that I don't know if it's super relatable to this, but
No,
it's very easy for me to call that trauma because I can see
your
how
parent.
it's your mother.
Right.
Now you're also your same sex parent. And my dad always tells the story, which always stuck with me, that there was a little girl and she had been to like an air show, you know, with the planes flying over, and one of the planes had crashed and she had seen it. But she was so young, she didn't even understand what had happened. You know, someone had just obviously died, but she didn't understand that. But it was the parents' reaction. And the dad went, come on! And like flipped his shit trying to prevent her from seeing it. But, you know, she thought it was a firework for all she knew.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that very much lines up with it. And like, I hope it was okay that we had that discussion because like,
yeah.
I just said that I think people are easy to throw that word out, but I actually think that is probably something you would have to work through in therapy.
Yeah, I have.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that with
No,
us.
seeing a parent flip out is one of the most imprinting things that you can have happen. And I think we know enough about your mom through this podcast. Like everybody has a bad day. Everybody has a bad moment. And like you two are still close to this day. You came up from seeing her.
Yeah. She did her best. And I know she would redo things now.
Sure.
Now that she's a more evolved person,
That's gotta be a signature of being
she
a
was
good
working
parent.
through things herself because clearly she had those opinions as well from maybe her mom or just society in general.
Yeah. No, it's, we'll say that was probably the last summer that the birthday guesser had a job. It's just like, I'm taking the birthdays out. I'm not going to do the birthdays anymore.
Yeah, the age.
Well, the weight and birthdays.
Guess the dates.
No more age.
Yeah.
Just dates,
do the
just guess
dates.
the dates.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really hard though.
Yeah,
That's hard.
but then if you get anywhere near, you're still earning your paycheck. Like if you get to the right half of March, it's just like, oh wow, yeah, you're really close.
Who knows?
AITA for make a teenage girl weigh herself at the top of a water slide. I think we agree it's actually not the asshole and the owner is.
The owner.
The management. Because the supervisor defended.
Yeah.
Kids get a pass because they're kids, but kids were
do better.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. Here we go. AITA because I, 28F, indirectly called my friend 30M ugly. My friend, Lucas, is a good guy and always friends with girls, but he always shows off when it comes to how many women he slept with. He never disrespected me or our female friends in the group. We're not interested in him. He's not conventionally attractive. He's about 5'6", has an underbite, thick glasses, but he is smart and charismatic. And we always make fun of each other, but in a mild, friendly way. Lucas says I'm like the jokester of the group. I'm forever grateful for how supportive he was during my breakup. Yesterday, we were at a friend's place, and he was talking about some specific positions he tried with women. He then tells us that a woman's vagina gets looser when a woman has a kid, and from 2 kids onwards, it's already super loose, and he doesn't like it. He then says that when he finds the women he sleeps with a bit ugly, he just turns her around and does her from behind. I said, so it's a win for her too, because she doesn't see your face either. I can't tell if he got upset or not, but all our friends told me it was a weird comment and I shouldn't insult Lucas this way because he'd never do that to me, and he is super nice to me. I agree, he's always been very kind, but I admit, even though I was joking, I was sick of his continuous remarks and objectification of women. AITA.
I think that's a clean burn if you ask me.
Yeah, it's tit for tat. It's ting for ting. Okay, Lucas is nice to you. All right, fine. But Lucas is getting into some crude business here. You're in mixed company. Talking about loosenesses of different vaginas. It's just gauche. I wouldn't do it.
It is gauche, but you characterize this as tit for tat. I have to push back there.
What? He's talking shit about a woman he's having sex with, and he gets a taste of his own medicine.
Turns around and does it from her from behind. And I'm sorry, but us women have to stick together. And if you're talking about that one woman like that, you're talking about all of us like that. Okay,
that's
honey?
a reach. That's a reach for me. That's a reach.
I can understand that take.
A lot of times it is very hard to hear men talk about women in such a disgusting way, and it does personally offend me, honestly.
No, and I think that there is something about just decorum of like, regardless of how close you are with all of your friends, fellas, don't get crude like that in mixed company, regardless of how tight you are with everybody. If it's explicit and it's like a known thing, this is how you all engage with each other. Okay, but like you're talking about, if I think a chick's ugly, I just turn her around to the side. That's a gross thing to say. That's just like, it's like, yeah, you can be joking around if in like in company that talks like that.
Yeah, don't talk about women like that in front of other women.
It's
and I had friends in high school that used to, or college, well, I guess high school too, but college specifically I'm thinking about. They would, because I was really good friends with these guys that live right below me. So it was like these three guys and me that would hang out often, and they would just say the crudest stuff in front of me. And I'm like, you do realize I'm a woman, and the way you're talking about these other women is now I'm like, oh, then that means that men talk about me that way.
Yeah, no, I totally get the conjunction there. And I think that I disagree with you, Danny, on I don't think it's a reach for there to be solidarity with women in these moments, because it's like, look, everybody talks about sex. Personally, I find it kind of like, okay, you have nothing to say. We all have sex. We all know what it's like. If you need to go into detail about this, like, dude, pick up a hobby or something, have something fresh for me. We've all had reverse cowgirl, and like,
right.
You're not like the star of the show right now. You're kind of bumming everybody out. Like it's like describing how you chew pizza. We all chew pizza,
we all
man.
Do it.
We all do it
unless
our
it's
own
like
way.
a crazy funny story or something like that.
Right.
And I'm also totally fine with hearing the details. Like I was just explaining to you guys earlier, like some details in my friends the other day about like my anniversary trip, but it wasn't like I was talking like poorly about my partner.
You weren't going into excessive details about how Max's genitals fare after different things happen to them. Mm-hmm. That's excessive. That's where you're crossing into like, okay, you're kind of making me hear this now.
Right.
So I do think that he kind of got popped for crossing a line, and maybe it was out of nowhere. Maybe it hurt his feelings, but like it seems like he hurt your feelings and you responded in kind. And I think also it sounds like Lucas might have some stuff going on with you. Frankly, I don't know. I'm kind of reading that there's an energy there. He's super supportive through your breakup. He got hurt when you tagged him back on his rules. He is creating the rules of the humor. When you go low, you're opening up the rules of the humor of like, this is where we're at and joking around. And if you get upset about it, you're not joking around.
Okay, let's hear Danny.
Well, no, I just don't think that he took a direct shot at anybody. I don't approve of what he said. I think it's mad shitty. However, I think Lucas sounds like a good guy. OP says he was very supportive during the breakup. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's a bad person. Well, I think the implication, though, here is that it's appropriate to directly insult someone, which is not something he did. It's not. He did not directly insult OP. This is not tit for tat. I think this could have been a great teaching moment. Instead of trying to pop him in the face and call him an uggo, I think OP could have said, hey, have you ever thought about how women feel when you talk like that?
Okay. Yep. All right, you got me.
Wouldn't that have been better than calling him ugly? It's not nice to call someone ugly.
I always talk about the importance of the pitch. This has fallen into the importance of the pitch, Danny. You did put that into perspective for me. That's an interesting point, Shannon.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also just think, her burn is so good.
I don't think it's that good. I think it's
the same.
It's literally an inversion of what he's saying.
Same thing flipped around.
Yeah, it's like he was being shitty, and I think this is shitty. And like I forgot what my friend said. Oh yeah, he like brought up like, sleeping with a trans person, or like it was talking about Thailand and like sleeping with a lady boy. And I was like, you know what, dude? Like I just don't really appreciate that you would be judgmental of like you know, people who identify that way. And like, I'm not personally offended because I'm not a lady boy, but like, I just think it's shitty what you're saying. And you know what? He was like, I see your point. And we moved on. It's like, I just think like if someone's being shitty, like I could have been like, oh, sounds like you're insecure. It's like, well, how are we going to get
that's definitely the mature way to go about it.
There's no sales here. It's all just basically you took it personally, and that's okay. I can understand why you took it personally. I think Shannon made a great argument about how that happened. But yeah, there was a better way to handle this, and there was a less personal way to handle this. And you're right. I don't mean to really downplay Lucas here. It sounds like he is a good dude, but even good dudes, they get rocking and rolling in the party atmosphere, and then it's just like stop.
Well, I can see why she would get mad and without thinking, say this comment back. And maybe, and it definitely wasn't the kindest thing to do, but I can see doing this myself, to be totally honest with you. I really don't like the way when men talk about women like that.
Sure.
It's mad shitty, and I mean, I think it reeks of insecurity as well, right? I think Lucas is posturing. I think this is puffery, and it's pathetic, you know. But I also think the fact that he's 30.
He's 30?
This is extra hard to hear.
I thought he was like 21.
That's what it is, like a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
Which I actually think
he is 30.
Makes him look even worse. But it also does suggest to me that maybe no woman has ever, like, there are still like Arizona, this kind of conversation still flies. You know, and nobody has ever told him like, hey man, like that's not really like a cool way to talk.
It's not what we're doing here.
It's not what we're doing. Like, so stop doing it. Whereas when you just take a shot at him, that's not even gonna register with this guy.
Right.
Like he's gonna be like, oh yeah, I was talking about women I slept with and she got jealous and said something bitchy. Like that's how he's taking away here.
Yeah.
You know, and like I think there's a level of closeness. They were together during the breakup. You know, it could have been a productive moment. Confetus, NTA, not to mention our Bad Women's Anatomy. Why do we spend millions on erectile dysfunction treatments when women are historically more horny after 40? Do people not realize the vagina involuntarily contracts during sex, not just childbirth? We're not fleshlights. Everyone needs to attend a sex ed class. You're all staying after and getting homework.
Love that. Yeah, it's true. The stuff he's saying just is incorrect and misogynistic.
Absolutely.
And also like somewhat like, I don't know if ageist is the right word, but like you're kind of talking about like older women in a bad way because like they have children. I mean, I know you can have kids at any age, but I don't know. It's just like they're expired.
Yeah, there's definitely 90s shock jock comic of like, you know what I hate about mothers? Their genitals. Like it's just like, man, you're not going to win over a room with this.
The puffery itself, to me, you know, the fact that he's talking about, you know, people he's had sex with in this manner, to me, it's like this is a guy who's just like trying to attain some kind of status, and it's frankly pathetic.
Yeah. And the better way to get through to him is definitely being a little more diplomatic about it, of course. But I can't call you an asshole.
I can't go that far either. I mean, I do feel like he's being really unempathetic because
he's being a bad little boy.
He's talking shit about women in front of women. Like he should be a little bit more.
Come on.
Be a bad 30-year-old boy.
Really. AITA because I, 28F, indirectly called my friend 30AM ugly. I think we agree it's not the asshole, and he is.
Yeah.
NTA. Yeah. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. That is our app. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Drink Surge.
Your face.